the interesting thing with sex is when it comes to food, you can't not eat and continue to live. So you have to find a way to do it. Sex is optional though. And so I've thought a lot about this, and I can understand and relate to the desire to enjoy something without feeling compelled to experience it on a regular basis, whatever that basis is for you. So I often worry, were I to do the 70-day thing like you, which I have never done, that I would probably experience what you experience, but could also fall back into it within 20 or 30 days, could find myself there. So are you taking any steps to be aware of that or concerned with that? Or is it just kind of you're just seeing where things lead?
I think the key, and again, this is such a key just in life in general, in any sort of spiritual endeavor at all, it really just comes down to really, really being aware of it. You know, so many people just kind of go through life as kind of zombies, right? Their mind is just kind of running their experience, and they're not really aware of it. And so that's the key. Like I'm super, super aware of that, of the potential for that to happen. And so if I ever feel that, I'm planning on just being very aware of it and stepping back a little bit and being like, whoa, you know, it's cool. Like, you don't have to go chase girls right now. Not a big deal. Let's go enjoy other parts of life. Let's sit down, meditate, you know? So that's kind of the plan, you know, cause I definitely don't want to be back there. But on the other hand, that's the thing. It's like, you know, sex is a cool pleasure that I don't think anyone should really cut completely out of their life. You know, I mean, yeah, it's cool if you're a Buddhist monk and you sit there and meditate, you're completely content with it. But I mean, I don't know. I still think that life is all about balance.
Sure.
And yeah. And again, like I want to be able to go out with my friends and go out to bars and have fun. But yeah, I just don't want to be compulsive about it. So the steps I'm taking, man, I mean, is just really, really being aware of it. And if I feel that feeling coming on, I just really need to be aware of it and take a step back. And a lot of times, when you're aware of something, whether it comes to negative emotions or you're just aware of this oncoming compulsiveness, it starts to fade away. Yeah. It's really only when you dip into this kind of state of real unconsciousness where it can kind of take over.
Yeah. And it seems like desire and aversion, meaning, oh, I want to stay in this state, are two sides of the same coin. Like you're trying to maintain something. And in this case, the desire is to be free. And so I very much have experienced the fact that true awareness is the only thing that really unties your addictions, which is to say that if you became deeply aware of the way that this makes you feel, made you feel, etc., it would reflexively unwind. And to the degree that you find yourself engaging in compulsive behaviors that make you unhappy later is the degree to which you're unaware of something.
But just to be clear, you don't mean be aware of your addiction. You mean be aware of the fact that while the female addiction gets you the pleasure of sex, it comes with the anxiety of if she likes you, the effort.
If you felt all of that at its core, and also felt the hole that it was coming from, which is probably not, oh, I need a new stranger. It's probably like, I need to feel love, or I need to feel connected to another human being. If all of that could be completely entered into your awareness, you would just go do something that was healthier without having to control yourself and treat yourself like a taskmaster, which is something that I'm trying to do myself, because I recognize that, like I said, aversion and desire are two sides of the same coin. So the degree to which you have to stay away from something to avoid, oh God, I'm going to get caught up in it, is the degree to which it still controls you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Eastern cultures will talk about this all the time, but there's that weird paradox where, like, you want to be spiritually enlightened and you have the desire to have no desires. Right. It's a desire. So there's this weird paradox. And again, truth is filled with paradox. That's the thing. It's like, people shouldn't discount it just because it's a paradox. But I don't know. The awareness is just the key to everything.
I want to talk about, you mentioned two consciousnesses merging. So I've heard traditional conservatives, people like Jordan Peterson in the past, talk about the dangers of uncommitted sex. And they tend to come at it from a religious perspective. But there is a bit of this new agey idea that you're mixing energies with someone, and you should be discriminatory about how you do that, not in terms of race, but in terms of, do you care for this person? Is this someone that you want to let in to affect you in a deep way? Now, not being an enlightened individual, that has not been my experience of more casual sex, which is, it's this profound intermingling of energies. So I'm curious, having had this experience, abstained from sex, experiencing at least once this merging of consciousnesses, do you think that you will go back to having casual sex, or is it something that has become more sacred to you?
So this merging of consciousness that I was talking about, I mean, this was casual sex.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, this was. And I feel like when you are at a higher level of consciousness, I would think the drawbacks of having casual sex go away. Like they're even less. It's funny. What I've noticed is that girls who are more spiritually awakened, they are much more, I wouldn't say promiscuous in a sense, but their sex drive is like way higher. Mm-hmm. I think that being at a higher level of consciousness makes it much, much better, because I mean, if you look deep down, it's like, what causes the negative effects from casual sex? It's like, what are all these negative emotions that you experience? Well, it's all just based upon the ego, right? It's you have, I mean, let's see, what's a negative effect of having casual sex? I mean, if you all of a sudden have some emotional effect, like afterwards, like you feel bad about it, or I don't know, you maybe feel attached to the person, it's some sort of attachment, right? If you strip all that away and are free from the ego and are free from attachment and just enjoy sex for what it is, which is this incredible human to human interaction, I don't see how there can really be any negatives from it.
So, I agree with you. In my experience, though, the spiritual women that I've met, and I've gone to a bunch of spiritual events, and they do tend to be very like bacchanal in the sense that it's threesomes and foursomes, and no one's getting jealous, and everything's free love,
right? Very
hippie-ish. But then when you get down to it, when you start to get to know them, like the day you meet them, everything they say is perfect. When you get to know them, you realize that actually all the same issues are occurring, which is to say they espouse free love, but then they are jealous of someone, or they're covetous of one of the guys, or whatever it is. And in my experience, actually the most drama-filled communities I've seen are the open-minded spiritual ones, that they, on the outside, they look amazing with all the group sex and lack of jealousy. But then when you get into it, you're like, oh, this is actually much more dramatic than my friends who are just dating regular people. And I'm curious if I'm curious, because I feel like a lot of times it's so hard to tell who's living it and who's just saying the right things. Because when you study enough enlightenment, everyone knows how to say the right things. I could, if I lied, I could just fake being a guru as long as the camera wasn't on me for more than like a half hour a day. And as I've personally gotten to the root of some of these communities, I go, oh, this is actually much worse than the average people that I know. And I'm curious, I guess, if you have seen that yourself yet with these people.
Interesting. I haven't like dated too many spiritual, like super spiritual people. I haven't really dove deep into communities like that. But the people that you're talking about, yeah, they have the desire to get there, and they kind of realize, they're like, oh, okay. So if I was really spiritually awakened, I wouldn't have any sort of fear at all, which includes jealousy. And so I should be participating in these orgies or whatever and not getting jealous. But then, of course, when you really get to know them, it looks like they're not there yet, but they're trying to be. And that's all it is they're simply not there. They're trying to be, but yeah, they still have those issues for sure. And I was fortunate enough to, get to a place, and at least with one other girl too, I feel like we really got to a place where, like everything disappeared. It's an incredible experience when you can be with a girl and it's no different from yourself. Like I got to a place with this girl, and again, like I've dated girls for a couple of years, and it was a quarter of the depth that I got with this girl that I was just seeing casually. And it was a couple different girls. You can get to a place where there's like no separation whatsoever. It's literally like you're talking to yourself, like your deepest, darkest secret. You can just say, you can be completely free and open. There's no holding back. That, uncomfortable feeling in the back of your mind in kind of a social setting with a girl, that kind of nervousness feeling. When that completely goes away, it's an incredible experience. It's like a completely different animal. It's a completely different scenario.
Do you get
Like,
there with guys as well?
Yeah, I mean, not sexually. Like, I'm not.
No. Well, I'm just saying what you're describing is actually asexual, right? A conversation where you are not judging yourself, not filtered, feel a connection. Like, weirdly enough, unless I missed it, you actually didn't mention like anything in terms of physical intimacy there, in terms of feeling like you're talking to yourself. And so I'm curious, is this a female only experience for you?
No. I've like my best friend back in LA. I mean, I was able to, there was a few people that were hanging out with me kind of during the peak of the awakening process. People would consider me manic. I was like writing all this stuff down. I was on a super like spiritual high. And they were with me the whole time. And yeah, it was kind of the same thing. Like, I would just say literally anything. Like, there wasn't anything that I would hold back, because I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like all of consciousness was one. I was just like interacting with myself. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was just completely playing with form. It was crazy, man. It's just such a hard thing to really describe, but
no, that's what I figured.
Yeah. When all fears and insecurities go away, it's an incredible experience. And so it was just one guy friend, I guess, that, it was like that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's not unique to a sexual experience. It's really more about how you interact with the world. It comes internally. It's right. Removing your own filter, removing your own fears.
When you incorporate that into a sexual experience, it makes that sexual experience crazy, like completely different than you're used to. Mm-hmm. So it enhances it. But yeah, on the basic level, it doesn't have to be, a sexual experience.
Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.